Hi, lovies. This is Christina again here on Karma's Eye Psychic LLC here on Universal Spirit Podcast. We are now well into our magic series. We are now on episode 20 when it comes to talking about the power and the magic of journaling. So you can always catch the original posts in all of my podcast episodes. They're usually down at the very bottom, and you can read the original post for yourself. It's on my Facebook. Please like, share, follow, and subscribe during this time, and all the links will be available for you to follow us. All right, so there isn't much to talk about for this particular one. This was a very short episode. There is so much magic when writing things down in a journal. First, written word is so very powerful to our spirits and our minds. Written words are instructions to be followed by our bodies and our minds. So writing things down creates a reality. Now, spoken word, just like people, who refer to the Bible and Christianity and metaphysics and the spiritual, practices of alchemy, that spoken word is very, very, powerful when it comes to giving yourself and energies around you directions. Okay, so it's like you say it, therefore it is. Right? That's why we were speaking about how music is very powerful and how music gives instructions to the energy around you. So you would most likely say positive things to create those things or continue those things being positive in your life, right? And then you move on to the power of written word, which would be like, the script, so to speak, right? Scripting, or pretty much like the lyrics of your energy, right? Like the lyrics of music. Second, written words are alive, just like our spoken words are alive. Repetitive writing makes things come true, or are things that may already be true, just continuing the life of it. Journals themselves are the books that contain these things, that contain the secrets, instructions, recipes, and even our true feelings. This energy contained in a book gives the book itself a life. Now, most of us, 99% of us, as young people, have kept some type of journal or some type of diary, right? Whether it was a specific book or just little rattled pieces of paper, right, that are become like a scattered memoir, so to speak, of our feelings. Either our feelings, our thoughts, our ideas, our inventions, or just whatever, whatever comes to mind, or the things we see in dreams, dream journals. These are spaces and like things that contain these feelings of, pretty much trapped in time. Right? So there are times where we can write things about being very depressed, and then we're no longer in that phase anymore. It's almost like you can go back in time and revisit your old self, right? So think about that. It's kind of like when you read a book that's been published all over the world, whatever type of mind state that the author was in, we are going back in time and visiting that person at that time in their life. Do opinions change? Yes. Do feelings change? Yes. Does with more research things change? Yes. But at that particular moment in time, it is etched out in history, or it's ingrained, in metaphysical history forever, right? You have allowed the energy to flow through you, and it's given itself a life. So now when the feelings have life, the thing that you place it in has a life now. It's carrying that energy. Some people even have diaries that they record only negative things, and then a diary where they only record positive things. And the energy of both of those things would be very consciously different. That would be something to, experiment with if you were practicing your own personal alchemy. See if you can keep a journal, of negative things that you might be feeling, and then a journal of things that are going great, even a gratitude journal, and just watch how, you may outgrow the negative journal, or you might outgrow the positive journal. You never know. Maybe there is shadow work that needs to be done. Okay. What are we writing to make come true? To release negative thoughts or patterns, we would write them down first and usually burn the pages to dispel them forever. To increase good things, we would write them, respectfully in many ways or repetitively or for days in different languages to enhance its long life. Now, I've mentioned this before when it comes to prayer, meditation, and chanting and incantations of speaking in native languages or the language of the ancestors or the language of your spirit guides or, just a language that it just resonates or just really something that you understand, right? I mean, you could speak in Klingon, and if that really resonates with you, then that's your language, right? That's why we like certain things, like certain shows and songs and stuff like that. It resonates with us. Not all of us love Star Trek. Not all of us love Star Wars. But I'm going to tell you right now, my followers, I do. I love Star Trek and I love Star Wars. Okay? So if I hear any of the theme songs, like I'm gonna be lit up. Right? My vibration is going to be a lot higher. Right? So journals themselves, and of course, if you are practicing, witch or spiritual practitioner, a lot of things are kept secret in books, in journals, right? We often record the encounters we have with spirits in these journals, and it's almost like these spirits are alive with us back in time in this forbidden book. These books are very precious to us, and we do put them in places where we would not want them to be disturbed, right? It's kind of like having another person around, right? So you would put that book in a place like, in the dark where it won't be disturbed, or a place only you would know about it, right? So it's kind of like whenever you want to consult with the universe or nature or whatever, you wouldn't want someone to accidentally, destroy it, mess up the energy around it. You'd keep it cleansed, or just keep it out of other people's view. This way, no one knows about it, and people aren't looking for it because they know nothing about it, right? That's also the connection that you have to journals and journaling, because your knowledge of its existence is also part of your vibration, right? Because I'm gonna tell you right now, everyone's talking about the shadow work journal, the lucky girl journal, the 369 journal, and the what is it, the villain method. There's so many things that people are talking about now when it comes to journaling, and this has been the trend of 2023 into 2024 because people have found that this is a very powerful way to manifest your desires or manifest a positive streak in life and continue it to live, understanding that your written words and your spoken words are actually very much alive. And this journal that you keep them in, it's almost like it stays true if once you write it down and once you hide it from the world. It's like it's another world that you've created, right? No different from when people write books, even especially non-fiction books, right? Because let's face it, there is always an element of truth to every type of fiction. There is some truth to it, and everybody, rule of thumb knows that, right? So they've pretty much have used lies to tell the truth, right? So it's entertaining, it pulls you in by a certain subject matter, but there's a truth to that author in that work of writing. So what are we writing down? What are we journaling about? What are the things that we are releasing? What are the things that we are learning about ourselves when we write them down? Do we know ourselves very well? Because even when you journal, if you look back on your journal from when you were like a kid, right, you just like, wow, like I didn't realize that. It's very clear to me now that I was, going through something, or I was very happy about this, and I really couldn't wait, to do this or X, Y, and Z. You'd be surprised. There are parts of us that are still alive in those journals, in those diaries. So which parts of you are you looking for? You might be able to find them again in those old journals. Even Facebook posts and Instagram posts and stuff like that. That's journaling as well. Okay, so let me know what you think. And I'll be here to, give my feedback on that. I want to know your opinion. So again, this is Christina with Karma's Eyes Psychic LLC here on Universal Spirit Podcast. On our way out of this magic series, I hope you guys are enjoying it. But we do have, I believe, 1 or 2 more episodes left, and I want you guys to let me know how you think about the entire series as a whole. All right, lovies. See you later.